Hey folks, here lately we've been looking at buckshot on the channel, and today we have some more buckshot. At least that's what it says it is. These are some federal shorty shot shells. This is a 1.75" 12 gauge shell. It has 15 pellets of number 4 buck in them, and they're moving at 1,200 feet per second. So the utility for this shot would be limited. They're moving at least 150 feet less than a normal hunting load would be moving. But I could see these things possibly be using for, let's call it farm defense, for making sure that foxes and raccoons and possums don't hang around in places that they're not supposed to be. So what we're going to do today is we're going to shoot a 4-shot group out of this Stevens. Now this is Grandpa's old Stevens, model 311. This one in particular has a full and a modified choke, I believe, is what I remember. Left side is tighter than the right side. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot two-shot groups. We're going to shoot a shell out of each chamber at the target, and then we're going to do that again. And that's going to give us a total pattern. We're only going to be shooting from 20 yards today, and we're going to be shooting free-handed. There's no real need to get too particular about these because, like I said, I don't believe they're going to hunt and load anyway. These things are more for recreational use, just for having fun with. All right, so here's the shell breakdown for the federal shorty shot shells. This is a 1 3/4 inch 12 gauge load. The box claims to have 15 pellets of number 4 buck. We open the shell and we find 15 pellets of 23.5 caliber lead projectiles, which means they're slightly smaller than number 4 buck. They were pretty uniform. They have a uniform weight of 18 grains, and they have a lead hardness of 14, which means they're a hard lead alloy. They have plenty of buffer. Here's our shot cup, which was full to the top. It's just a little plastic cup, nothing special, but it serves its purpose. These were a roll crimp shell. You see the roll I cut off there, and the plastic over shot card there. It has the federal emblem in it, if you can see that there. We have a small disc powder in here. We could weigh the charge, but it's just a waste of time because we don't know what type of powder that is. Let's look at the shell here. We have fairly good printing on the shell. 4 buck, 1 3/4 inch, 15 pellet. And we have Federal's emblem. Look at the head stamp. Federal 12 gauge. That's a baby shell there. The printing on these really doesn't matter because this is not what I consider a hunting load. It's not something you're going to tote around and wear the print off anyway. This is more of a recreational load. So, I mean, you would be shooting them out of the box to begin with, I would think. So, anyway, speaking of the box, let's check the box out. So, on the top here, we have Federal shorty shot shell. We have all the specs. 12 gauge, 1 3/4, 1,200 feet per second, 15 pellets of 4. On the front here, we have Federal shorty shot shells. It doesn't tell us what these are. It tells us we have 10 of them in this box. I like it when they have the specifications on the front and the top. That way we can store them on a shelf or in a box and see what they are. But here we don't have that. They do make some of these other shorty shells. So, I mean, you would just know you had shorties. You wouldn't know what they were. On the sides here now, we have the specs. On this side, on the other side, we have the specs again. So if we were going to store them on a shelf, we'd store them like this. And we'd be able to see what we have there. Underneath, we have our legalese. And on the back, we have our legalese. So there's the shell breakdown for the Federal shorty shot shells. Let's take these little babies out to the range and do some blasting. All right, so like I said, we have the Stevens 311 here, and I believe this thing has 28-inch barrels. I don't shoot this gun that much. It just kind of hangs around and reminds me of days gone by that I spent with Grandpa. Let's do a little shooting here and see how these things perform. See what kind of recoil we get out of these things. Here we go. Oh my goodness. That's cute. All right. So we just sent 30 pellets down through there. We're going to sticker this. We've shot our first 2 shots down there. Of course, we forgot to turn on the target camera so you can get to see the hits. But we're going to shoot 2 more times down there. And this time we do have the target camera on. Here we go. 2 more shots. We'll shoot the left barrel first with these Federal Shorties. We'll sticker these, and then we'll go down there and we'll look at the target after the eldest princess shoots these things. All right, here we go. So we got a 90-pound female here, and she's going to tell us if these shorties recoil. Front trigger. All right, let's see what we get. See if you can hit that WD-40 can. Did they recoil?
It did. It knocked me back a step.
How's this kick compared to your 410, your squirrel shotgun, your turkey shotgun?
Hard.
It kicks harder than your 410. How's it kick compared to the over and under 20 gauge?
Definitely less than that one. That one really knocks me around.
This kind of reminds me of a probably a 28 gauge. Let's go down here and look at this target. And I don't know if she hit that can or not. It moved. I think she might have shot a little low. I think the shotgun in and of itself might be a little too heavy for her. But let's go down here and look at this target and see what kind of pattern we got with the shells that I shot. All right, so here's the target that I shot with the Federal Shorty shells. Here's the box. This is an 1 3/4 12 gauge load. It has 15 pellets of number 4 buckshot in them, and they're moving at 1,200 feet per second. Now, like I said before, this is not what I would call a hunting load. This is a recreational load. I would say it's for fun. But we do want to look at the pattern and dive into this a little deeper. On this 12x12 target, we got over 80% of the total pellet count on this target. We got over 50% in this 8-inch circle. These are recreational first load, but for farm defense, we'll call it, farmstead defense. If you have problems with raccoons, possums, foxes, hanging around the chicken lot, duck pen, around the barn, feed shed, whatever, and you just want a shot shell that's capable of taking them, and you're recoil sensitive and can't use something better, this will get the job done. This will get the job done on coyotes up close. I would not shoot a deer with this, period. End of sentence. Because there's better choices than this. But for small critters like groundhogs, foxes, possums, coons, just vermin, troublemakers, this will fit the bill. But I would not rely on these for hunting, for gathering meat. And I wouldn't rely on these for defense against anything bigger than a coyote. Think bear size, think two-legged trouble. I just wouldn't rely on these. There's better choices. So, all in all, the shorties are a recreational load, but for vermin control around the farmstead, these would fit the bill too. So until next time, y'all stay safe on the farm, and God bless. That's ridiculous. They're just ridiculously small. Anyway, let's shoot them and see what they do.